Bex. Barack Obama clinched victory last night. For more on the challenges the president faces in his second term, more so for our follow-up on yesterday's conversation. We're joined by Don Peebles, chairman and CEO of the Peebles Corporation, fundraiser for the Obama campaign. Where were you yesterday?
I was in New York working.
Oh, you were working?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Don't get defensive. You're working hard. But we did talk taxes with you yesterday, and you're a big booster of the president, but you don't think he should raise taxes on any particular group at this point. Do you think it's possible to solve the fiscal cliff with the president by getting him to extend all of the Bush tax cuts?
I think that something close to that. I think that carried interest, for example, it's almost indefensible to tax
That'd be
carried
enough
interest.
for him to do?
Well, I think it's a big step. I think it'll be a big step, and I think something along those lines that's a big step as we end up the year here. Would be
that would impact you, right? Real estate partnership?
Actually, no, it doesn't, because I'm a dealer in real estate, and so, for example, I pay taxes at the ordinary income level for real estate development projects that we do, but my private equity investors who are sitting behind their desk in New York while I'm out in the trenches working pay it at a lower rate. That's an indefensible position, and I don't know why anyone really wants to even argue that. But the fact that it's gone on so long was a benefit for everybody.
We're just trying to figure out who blinks, Don, and I think that the House Republicans have less probably to stand on in terms of principle at this point. It was a rebuke yesterday, but I still don't know if they're going to just rubber stamp some, let some expire, let other ones, stay in force. And then the president has given that speech that says, I'm going to compromise now. Now, when's the last time, how often do you speak to him?
I don't, not
okay, do you think it's possible that he does what he did last time and says, okay, I'm going to give you one more year, the economy's still weak, I'll give you one more year on these tax cuts because I'm not going to raise them on anyone, but I want something done over the next year in terms of all this other stuff. Do you think he'll do that?
I think he could. I think he very well will. I think that, look, he comes into office for a second term with a whole different set of circumstances.
He doesn't have to be reelected. And the entire Republican Party is not trying to prevent him from being reelected again.
Exactly. And the economy is growing. As opposed to
not like
shrinking.
Anyone would like it.
No, but it's a 6-point turnaround in GDP.
Will you talk to Roger? Roger won't. He wants that 39.6 no matter what. Can you talk to him, or do you? Well, I can tell you what. No, never mind him. Go right to the president.
He knows more about the economy than I'll ever learn. Look at what he's. He's
I know.
Treasury Secretary,
but I can't get him to budge on
that. And
Go ahead, David. Do you want to?
Well, I think we need to avoid the fiscal cliff, and that means extending a lot of things. There's no question. Right. But we need a bridge to be able to get a grand bargain, and we need a down payment. And the real question is, what should that down payment be? You talk about, getting rid of carried interest, the special tax treatment there. I think it is indefensible, quite frankly. One of the things that Roger and I were talking about earlier is what can be done to try to limit deductions for the higher income.
It's a good one.
After all, I'm middle income, okay? And the only deductions that I get because of AMT are charitable contributions and interest on a primary residence up to a limit. Why not the same thing for the wealthy? Okay,
right. You're talking to those two guys right now, by the way.
But I'm not talking about raising the tax rates. I'm talking about leaving the tax rates there, but let's deal on the deductions.
They're the only guys here that are
careful with that, though, because many of these deductions result in job creation, and many small businesses that are going to be responsible for creating the vast majority of the jobs pay taxes at the individual level, and so we've got to be very careful with taking away deductions, and that can't be in a let's make a deal kind of environment.
You have to be careful about raising the top rate.
But if it's above the line, it won't affect them. I'm talking about below the line, below adjusted gross income.
Keep in mind, though, that Simpson-Bowles, which we all know is enormously popular in the business and financial communities, centers around profound reform of tax expenditures or deductions, profound reform, and very much limiting the size of the basic deductions, mortgage interest, charitable deductions, state and local taxes, and so forth.
Where it's means tested.
Correct. That's right. But it's very profound reform of tax expenditures.
Right.
I think the country needs that. I think that's an important approach. But I'm just saying let's not be under any misunderstandings as to what Simpson-Bowles is.
Don, you got to raise revenue somehow, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I agree. And I think the point of reducing or eliminating some of the deductions and capping them, I think, is a good way to go. The question is there going to be enough time to get that done and get something comprehensive before the year's out?
When you hear everyone saying that only 2% of small businesses pay as individuals in that type. Are you just made, when you hear it, do you chafe a little when you hear that it doesn't matter that for small businesses that because they're so few?
Yeah, because that's how I pay. I pay at the individual level
but
because all of our entities are LLCs and subchapter S corps.
But it's 54% of the revenue that comes in.
And that's a very significant
then when
impact.
you hear your colleagues and the people that you support saying that, do you call them and say, we should stop saying that?
I do. As you know, and I've done it on air here, and I've done it in many places where I disagree with the position of raising taxes, and I do. But I think we have to have tax reform and a simpler system and also some clarity.
Or are you leaving at the end of this? Can you guys meet
The
in
next
the
20
green
seconds.
room? Will you have coffee with him and talk to him?
I think the other thing is, I'm a certified public
After the
accountant,
show.
but I think it is an outrage that a vast majority of individuals who are not wealthy cannot prepare their own tax return by hand.
Okay.
It's an outrage, and that's a litmus test.
Yeah, I agree.
It's too complicated. But Roger's right. Last time it took 4 years to get the comprehensive tax plan passed.
We're more productive today.
Let's hope.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Peebles, for being here. Coming up, we're going to get more from